Welcome to today's video. It is going to cover making or patterning a low-waisted skirt. Now, just like I had said in previous videos, anything below the natural waistline will be considered a low-waisted garment. So in this case, I'm going to show you how to do just that. So what you see here is my block, my skirt block, front and back, traced out. This is my front block, and this is my back. And my straight lines are center back and center front. So the lowest really that you would want to lower a skirt is 3 inches. Okay, anything below 3 inches, then you'd be moving into the waist. So I'm going to go ahead and mark on my center back and front at the side seam 3 inches, and do the same thing on the front. So that is 3 inches down on the side seam. And that is also 3 inches down on the side seam front. Then at the center back, I'm going to drop another 3 inches. And what I'm going to do is draw a line parallel to the waistline at 3 inches through and through. Okay. So parallel, again, that just means that these lines for eternity and infinity, they will not meet as long as the measurements from top to the red line are equally spaced. So I'm going to repeat that on the front here. And that is going to be the new level of my skirt. So in purple, I'm going to indicate this so that you understand properly that everything above the red line is going to be discarded. And that is why this is called the low waist. So this is going to be the new waistline of the skirt, okay, the red line. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 1/4 of an inch from the side seam back and the side seam front. The reason for making the subtraction is because every basic skirt has the ease of 1/2, okay, total 2 inches around the hip. And so the lower you move towards the hip level, what's happening, and I should mark the hip level so that you are aware of this. Okay, so the lower you move towards the hip level, the bigger the skirt measurement is going to be. Okay, that's 2 inches above what your hip measurement would be. So we want to make that subtraction so that the skirt doesn't fall off the wearer. So this line that I'm drawing is just to show you where my hip levels are. And I'm going to blend that 1/4 inch subtraction towards the hip level. And repeat the same thing on the front. Okay, so the shape of my skirt is now everything that is inside the red outline. The next thing that we're going to do is, of course, add our seam allowances. So I'll be right back with the seam allowances. So here you have the seam allowance added in blue. Side seam, you have 1/2 inch. And please notice that the 1/2 inch is parallel to the side seam of the skirt and follows the red adjustment, okay? Follows the red adjustment of the side seam. And then at the very top, you've got 1/4, and at the center back, you have a 3/4 inch seam allowance for putting in a lap zipper or a centered zipper, whatever the case may be. And then for the front pattern piece, you have a 1/4 inch at the top, and again a 1/2 inch on the side seam, following the corrected size seam marking. Now, with that said, we are ready to make the facings. But before we even move along, I want you to pay attention to what's happening in the back. For the front, lowering it at 3 inches, you've pretty much eliminated the entire waist darts. In the back, where you've got a longer dart, you still have darts remaining. Now, it is highly advisable not to eliminate those, so that when the skirt is sewn, it still takes form to the buttocks. Okay, so when it's sewn, the garment is not flat and ill-fitting. So pay attention to that. Okay, I am going to go ahead and place a paper underneath these drafts and trace out what is going to be my facing. I have an additional sheet of paper underneath it now, and I have penciled in the width of the facing. In this case, I have 2.5 inches from the blue line, which is the seam allowance of my pattern piece.